think this is an opportune time for us to revisit the Object Edit toolbar, or I just kind of call it the Object toolbar. When you click on an object that is not locked, so for instance, here's a little screenshot I have, that's an object, you will see bullets that will appear around the edges, but at the top or the side, depending upon where it's sitting, you're going to see the Object toolbar, which are all these little squares right here. There's a number of things that those squares can do, and I'm going to just show you very quickly a couple of the things. So if you see an X, you can click on that X, and that's another way that you can drag your object. The next one over is to rotate the object. Now here's a trick with this one. When you rotate, you don't click on it and then go down to the object. You actually click and hold down on that square and start to turn it. You can rotate your object. That's kind of fun. All right, so that's rotate. The next one over is called the Object Edit menu. This screenshot down here tells you some of the things that you can do in that Object Edit menu, but the two that I do most often is locking objects to the page, anything that you wouldn't want students to manipulate when they come up to the board. Or I really like the drag a copy feature, and that is a feature where if you have something like, let's say, the letter A, E, I, O, U, or letters of the alphabet, and you want students to be able to drag copies of those objects off to build words, you can get an infinite number of copies. We are going to talk about grouping later, so I'm going to skip that one. The next two have to do with layering. If I drag this object, you can see that it's behind the object below it. And if you want to layer that in front, so you're going to have these on top of each other, you could actually click on this one. If I keep clicking now, you'll see that it's in front of the other one. So those are layering options. Oops, I forgot this one. If I click on this one, it's a translucency slider. You click on it and drag it to the left, and you can make your object more see-through or translucent. Love this one. There are many, many times where I might have a text box and I need to create another text box that's similar with a similar text formatting. This is a duplicate function, so you can duplicate your objects. And then lastly, the two stars, big and small, that's to increase or decrease the size of your object, which I always just drag the corner of the object, so I never use those two. So that is, those are your object tools. And one last thing, the reason why when I click on this object I don't see the object tools is because it's a locked object, and this one is not a locked object. When you lock an object, so if I go under here and lock it to the page, it no longer can be moved, and that toolbar does not show up. One way you can get it to show up is by going into what we call design mode, which you click on this button to go into design mode, and then you can get the object tools on the locked objects. Just remember to go back to presentation mode when you're teaching. We'll talk more about design and presentation mode at a later date. So you're going to stop this video and you're going to go to this page 7, and there's a series of exercises for you to practice using the object toolbar.